show. I appreciate it.
It's an honor. It's an honor. Hey guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So today I'm doing another live chat, and I've got on the show today JLuv81, a YouTuber which I watch. I watch lots of YouTubers. I love watching YouTubers because it inspires me with my own show, and just to keep up to date with what's going on in the retro gaming world and everything else that's going on. So let me introduce JLuv81 to you. I'm getting this from her own About Me page. So if I say anything wrong, she'll correct me. So she joined YouTube in 2016, which is around the same time I joined YouTube. I mean, she joined in February. I joined in September. So she was a little bit earlier than I was. And she's up to 1,082 subscribers. So that's really impressive. She's a gamer girl. She's into retro and today's consoles, so she's also into the modern stuff. She loves Nintendo and PlayStation consoles the best. She loves to play and collect video games and gaming-related toys and accessories. I think we all do. And she loves to laugh and make people smile, which I love. And she likes to live, laugh, love, and play all day. Making new friends in this community has been amazing, which I think is the best part of YouTube.
Yes.
And looking forward to making more. She loves making videos, doing live streams, getting to chat with people like me, and the 80s still rock. I think that last line there just really struck me because I love the 80s.
Absolutely.
I was born in the 80s.
Yes.
Well, I wasn't born in the 80s. Sorry, I was born in the 70s, but I grew up in the 80s. So let's introduce JLuv81 to the channel.
Hi, everybody. How you guys doing
Awesome.
today? Thank you for being here. And
I know we got the chat open. Yeah, no problem. We got the chat open just so we know. I mean, there's some people here that are JLuv fans, and there's people here that are my fans, and I'm sure we're all going to intermix.
Absolutely.
So it's pretty cool. So usually the way I do this is I like to have a bunch of questions that I've already kind of made ahead of time, just so I'm organized. I like to be organized.
Yeah.
I really don't. And so it's really just to keep the chat going. I don't want it to be too much, formal interview process. I like to do a chat. It's just the questions help. And, this goes back to when I first started my chats. My first person that I ever chatted with was Sonia. And she was the one who told me, hey, you got to have some questions prepared. I'm like, I do. So it's worked since then. So
okay,
still working now. Okay, so let's start with the first one. And this is the one that I usually do when it comes to a YouTuber, gamer, person like myself. And that is, what inspired you to start your channel in the first place?
Well, I've been playing games since I was probably 4 when the NES first came out. And watching people like Cinemassacre, Angry Video Game Nerd, my number one inspiration. Yeah. Game Chasers, getting to know those guys. I got to know 8-Bit Eric on a personal level. Talking to them really made me want to just do it, just for fun. I wasn't looking into making it as big as they are because I feel like it's a lot harder to do. I just wanted to do something where, hey, why not show this? I do unboxings. Why not put it on YouTube and see what's up? I enjoy talking to people. So that's my main goal, is to meet new people, and just this community that I'm trying to build has been overwhelming. Like, I have made the best of friends so far doing this. So it's been such a good time. So that's pretty much what inspired me, is watching people like that and just being myself. I try not to do script. I try not to. There's sometimes I have to, but most of the time I go with the flow. Same with streaming, just hanging out and having a good time with these people, all of them. They're awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best part. I mean, this is where when I jumped into this, it was the same thing. I didn't expect this to happen. I expected I'd be making a bunch of videos, few people would like them, and it wouldn't go any further than that. I mean, I didn't think that people would actually enjoy communicating and even doing the streaming. That was something I never planned on doing. I thought I would never do streaming. It was not in my plans. I didn't have it written down. It was like, I won't do it because I didn't know how to do it. And so I was like, I'm not going to do it. And I wanted to be a little bit different and think, I'm just going to do, my opinion videos and all that. But then people started saying, hey, why aren't you streaming? Why aren't you streaming? And I'm like, okay. It was just kind of like I jumped into it, and kind of like the same thing as you said. I got inspired. I was the same way. AVGN, Angry Video Game Nerd, was probably one of the first few videos I started watching where I realized that people did this. I didn't know about this stuff before, and I got into this very late. Like when I first learned about AVGN, I started asking my friend about him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of him." I'm like, "Why am I so behind?"
Yeah.
I felt like it was beyond me. Like I'm like, people actually go on YouTube and create these videos, because I stumbled upon him and I started watching a video and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I was laughing. I felt like everything he was saying, all the stuff was going on there, the old Nintendo style games. I was just like, hey, this is cool.
That's what it is. I
Like, yeah.
like meeting people that actually have the same kind of things in common, that you could actually talk to people about retro games and the retro community. Like you don't see that as often. And I didn't think I kind of thought retro was dying. And then when I got into this community, it's definitely still alive. It is a pleasure to meet so many people with the same interests. And like I said, I've met so many. I wanted to do this just to hang out with people. I was meant to just do videos. I had no intentions of streaming. That just came within the last few months when I finally got a laptop powerful enough to do it. And the reason why I started doing that was through other YouTubers, watching them stream. It was such a good time. Everybody in the chat got to know one another, and I wanted to be a part of that. So, and I did. Now that I'm streaming, everybody usually goes in the same groups that we watch together. It's like a one big happy family. That's what I love about it. And people tell me all the time, you should be on YouTube. You talk really well, like with people. You're good with that. And I'm not a shy person. So I was like, why not? I might as well just do something to be myself and do something I love, which is gaming.
That's true. I mean, for me, it was kind of accidental. I ended up in this not intending to actually do videos. So I didn't know in the beginning, like nobody told me anything like this. That's cool that you had that inspiration, because I probably would have got into this sooner if I had that inspiration. If people were to like tell me, hey, you got a passion, but I never had that. So I kind of fell into this thinking I didn't know what I was doing. And it was part of a project that I was working on with somebody else that I started my own videos. And I was kind of, thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. Like if you watch my first video, you'll see that clearly. And I think most of us YouTubers say the same thing. If you watch our first video, we clearly don't know what the heck we're doing. We're,
Yeah.
we got the camera at the weird angle.
It's embarrassing watching those first videos. I'm like, I cover my eyes. I'm like, no. Like, what was I thinking?
And one of the things that I thought of, one of the things I thought of when I decided to do this was like, I was inspired by the Angry Video Game Nerd, but I knew that he put on a persona, right? That's James Rolfe acting like the Angry Video Game Nerd. I had to make that conscious decision. Do I want to be myself, or do I want to create a character? I wonder if you thought of that too. I mean, did you think, should I create a character like he did? And
well, not really. I wanted to be myself, because James that is definitely, the nerd is nothing like who he really is. I met him a few times. He's very nice, and he's actually a little bit shy. He's on the shy side. He's not nothing like the nerd. It's all acting.
I can believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Game Chasers are themselves. The way they act is how they really are. Same with 8-Bit Eric. They are actually themselves, and I like that. And I wanted to do something where I want to be myself too. Right on camera, I'm me. The way you see me is the way you're going to meet me, the same exact way. And a lot of the guys on YouTube can vouch for that, because some of them talk to me on a daily basis, like Die Hard. I see you over there, T-Belly. Yeah. Thank you guys for popping in. Optimus, it's okay, buddy. I'll stream again soon. Jim, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you. Renaissance has amazing streams. So yeah, absolutely. This is the kind of community I'm talking about. Everybody coming together, and then we meet new people together. So one person tells the other, hey, check this guy out. Yeah.
I was the same. When I started doing my videos, I was the same. I was getting the feedback the same way where people were like, "Hey, I like your raw approach." I honestly was expecting to get a lot of hate. I was
Me too.
expecting to get a lot of people going on there going, "You suck. Get off YouTube. What are you doing?" You know, I didn't know that like just getting on there, being yourself, being honest, talking about what you like was what people actually want to see, right? I think we kind of get that mentality because we're constantly seeing things on TV. We're seeing Netflix. We're seeing things that are all scripted. Even reality TV isn't reality TV. It's scripted, right? They
Right.
find pretty people, they script them, they tell them what they do, they coach them. So it's not real. So you think that if you go on YouTube and be real, someone's just going to be there to beat you down. And true, they are there, but most of the time they're like the one, and the 50 people on top of them are the supporters.
I agree.
And
You
I
have a
actually,
couple
I
trolls, but you're
remember,
loved.
yeah, and I remember like watching your 1,000 subscriber special. One of the things that you mentioned in there was keeping a positive community, and that really struck me. Like because you know I often see these videos and I see the comments and I see the haters, people who go on there, and all they want to do is spark some kind of hate. They put some kind of nasty comment in there. They say
Yeah.
things like you suck or whatever. They just want to correct everything you say. So it's great that you actually brought that up in that video, and that because I'm assuming being a woman, it's even worse
It is.
because I've seen,
It,
yeah, and I have a bunch of friends that are female YouTubers, and I've seen their videos, and I hate reading those comments where guys are just being assholes. Honestly, I hate that.
you have to have thick skin, I think, in this kind of community with that, especially as a gamer girl. Like there's some people that don't have the respect for gamer girls. They think that we like to play like Wii games and those typical 3DS games, not hardcore gamers. I like to play all types of games, Call of Duties, like PlayStation, God of War, Nintendo, Sega Genesis. I play them all, and I've always been like that. So you kind of have to have like a not worry about what people think. And about my bullying video, I know that there's trolls out there. I've had trolls come after me, especially on Facebook. I noticed a lot of people are mainly coming after me to try to get with me. And it's not, and it makes me feel okay. They're not taking me a little seriously. You know what I mean? It's check out my channel. This is me. Like me for me. I'm a gamer girl. I'm proud. I'm retro. What I tell everybody is don't worry what people think. You're going to have haters, but in all honesty, in this community, we have more people that support one another than anything else. So don't let one or two people bring you down. It doesn't matter if you have a camera, like a perfect camera or a cell phone. It doesn't matter how you stream. Keep doing what you're doing. This is what I tell everybody. Do what you love. Don't worry about what people think. Eventually, it will shine. You will start to shine if you keep your head up, and people like myself would love to check you out. I love meeting people. And yeah, we invite people with open arms. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it just kind of goes in like I was saying, like I've watched a lot of different YouTubers, and I see the way people behave. It's kind of like, I don't know if you saw the last video I did. I did a video about are you wasting your time, or why are you wasting your time? It kind of falls in that same category, where there are a lot of people who just don't understand that this is just like anything else. This is just a hobby, but I mean, we care about it. We
Yeah.
enjoy doing it, and I don't know at what point in time people started to think that this was only a male thing. Because I even remember when I was a kid, a lot of people on my street, it was a mixture. It wasn't just boys. Like my best friend growing up, she played video games just as much as I did. We played Nintendo together. She played on the Commodore 64 with me. She had her own. She had, we played video games, and I knew a bunch of other girls. So I don't know at what point in time this ever became an issue, where people are like, "Hey, it's a men thing." Honestly, I think if anything, it's the men that are the jerks in the majority of the conversations. I don't know why that
Exactly.
is. I wish it would change, but I mean, I think that's just the way it goes. I mean, there's a lot of
I
guys
think
out
that
there.
it's kind of like the way some of them will expect gamer girls. There are some gamer girls that give us a bad rep. There are some that, you know, they expose themselves, don't really know much about games. They want to be cute with a controller. And that's not what I'm about. You know what I mean? I sincerely have a love and a passion for games since I was young. And I am 37 years old and I still share, if anything, it probably got even bigger because now I'm old enough I could start collecting what I want. I could get the things I didn't get as a kid. So I'm a true hardcore gamer. Just like any typical guy, I love to game. That's what I do. High school, the same thing. There was a bunch of us playing Nintendo 64 GoldenEye, you know, or Mario Kart 64, those games. This was all high school memories. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
there. We're there. Keep your eyes open. There's some of us out there, guys.
Yeah, well, it's actually interesting because I kind of put together a video. I haven't even launched it yet, but it was something that I thought about too, about being with a partner who also is into gaming. I'm not sure if I like the way I did the video or not, but it's something that I've been thinking about too. Is that like I'm married, so my wife is not a gamer. She's not into video games. She didn't grow up with them. She's not really into them, and it doesn't bother me. I don't care. I mean, she might think I'm a nerd or whatever, but I don't care.
Nerds.
Nerds rule, but I don't care. I mean, but I'm sure there's some that probably do. But I've also seen other posts. Like I'm on Facebook all the time. I'm on Twitter. I'm on, you know, all the crap, you know, all the social media stuff, and I see things where some people say, "Oh, my girlfriend also plays games." I even know somebody who's a gamer, and she plays a lot, and her boyfriend also plays a lot, but they seem to be independent, like they're not together playing. So
Right.
it's kind of a strange thing. Like it's a strange thing that even if you might be with somebody who's a gamer, you might be divided. So I don't think it's really an issue in most cases, right? Like
It's
I don't know
only an
about your
issue
status,
if
but
you it's only an issue if you allow it to be an issue. If you're constantly gaming, you know, like one of those people that'll stream for hours and hours and not pay attention to their significant other, then I could see an issue. So you gotta have to like it's kind of like people with families, you know, people with kids, you gotta pick and choose, you know, when the appropriate time is to game. You know, you gotta
exactly.
it's the same exact thing. You could do both though, absolutely.
It's a balance thing, right? It's a work life balance kind of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you that too. Like, what do you do to balance your time? Because, like today, I know you just got off a very long, like 3.5 hour was that? 3.5 hour stream you were doing of what was it, Adventure Island? Was it?
Oh yeah, it was Adventure Island. It was brutal. It was brutal. I was close though.
Oh
We're
yeah.
we're almost at the end. So
Well, but I mean, like, so do you have any measures in place to say, you know, this is when I'm going to do that? Because I know like doing videos is a lot of work. I mean, being on YouTube
it
is a lot
is.
of work. It's almost it's feels like it's a full-time job even when you do it part-time. And like, so how do you balance your life? Do you
It's
plan ahead
hard.
on your videos? Do you bang them off at the very minute you shoot the video? Like, how do you do that?
Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I work nights, so it's really tough. I have, you know, I sleep during the day, but it's also an advantage because I could choose, okay, I'll sleep like 4 hours and then I'm going to get up and film and knock out this video or write a script, you know. So it does have its advantages of working third shift. I also, you know, I have a family, you know what I'm saying? I have my sister, my nephews, my parents, everybody that lives around me. I'm in a relationship, so dealing with there's just so much going on. I have to time my plan wisely. Like, you know what I mean? Like I work,
Absolutely.
my days off, I stream. So I'm off today. I figured, hey, let's stream today, you know, or I'll wake up early to film. Now, filming is probably to me like streaming is a lot more fun. I'm gonna admit that, and that's because when you film, you have to edit. Spending time editing, it
Mhm.
takes hours upon hours, and at that, I don't even have like real editing software. Everything I use is on my cell phone right now. Everything.
Wow.
Everything I do is on my cell phone. As far as the videos, not like streaming. Obviously, I have to go through the
Yeah.
laptop. But this is kind of what I'm talking about. You don't need you could still bang out videos without the extra equipment. It's nice to have. it will improve. I am eventually going to get editing software for the laptop, but I'm doing okay so far. You know what I mean? I think I am at least. And hopefully I'll improve that. But yeah, absolutely. I just have to find a balance, and I do it perfectly. I know when to not family. I know when to, not have to worry about editing during work hours, which sometimes that helps because I work thirds. And at the same time, it's not even about me. It's about the community, and I try my hardest to make time to support others that are streaming as well. Make time to also
Exactly.
watch other people's videos, and it takes a lot of time. The more people the more videos you're going to have to watch. And that's because I enjoy everybody. So I want to make sure I give love to everybody equally. Sometimes I'll have 3 or 4 streams going at the same time. And I know Diehard in the chat and T-Belly they can definitely vouch for me. I'll be in 4 streams going at the same time. That's very, very tough and time consuming. But
That's a
that's
lot of
because,
balancing. Yeah.
it is. I'm a moderator for a lot of channels, so I want to make sure that I, keep an eye on the chat forum and show support just like they do for me. I couldn't not show support for somebody, especially that they do the same for me.
Yeah, I'm in
It's
the
about
same.
spreading the
I'm
love.
in the same boat. I mean, I love to support all the YouTube channels as well. In fact,
Yeah.
most of the time, I'm if I'm not sharing my own videos in between those, I'm sharing everybody else's, and I like doing it. And it's it's kind of like this is a community. This is the way we work it, right? We all appreciate one another, and I watch a great video. Once I watch a great video, I'm going to go on Twitter and Facebook and everything else. Like I got my Brian's Man Cave page. I got the retro gaming and retro toys Facebook group, and I will start sharing to those and say, hey, check
Yes.
out the video. This is what helps, right? This spreads the word, and
Exactly.
even in my own videos, like I've done videos where I've constantly mentioned other YouTubers,
Absolutely.
even
I agree.
even with this chat. Like, I mean, the reason why I like doing this chat is that it helps open the doors to other people. It's not about just me. It's about everybody, and saying, hey, I watch these people. These are cool people. You should check them out too. And it just helps spread the word, and it just opens up
Yeah.
the doors, right? Because it's tough. I mean, we're dealing in an environment now where there's billions of videos being uploaded every minute or something like that. It's something
It
crazy
is.
about.
It is. It's a lot harder on smaller YouTube channels. And that's why I think helping one another, supporting one another is very, very important. I really believe in that. And I honestly would rather watch a smaller YouTuber than a big YouTuber. You can actually interact with them on streams. It's more personable. And I enjoy watching small YouTube channels like their videos. I really do. I don't have cable. I am straight up YouTube and Netflix. So that's exactly what I love. I love watching everybody has different, content. They have different styles. They're from different places, and having everybody in one, like all of us doing the same kind of type of things, even if you don't do gaming, even if you do makeup. Let's say you do makeup, you're a small YouTuber. It's the same. I will support that person just as much because it is
Exactly.
tough to get in front of a camera. It is tough to do, especially when you're competing with so many bigger channels. This isn't a competition. We got to do this for the fun of it and just help each other grow. I love giving shout outs, and everybody in the chat right now has a channel, every single one of them. I
Pretty
definitely
much, yeah.
promote to everybody, please sub to one another, check out each other's channels, and spread the love. That's what it's about,
I mean,
every single one of
that's
them.
what it is, right? We all inspire each other, and there's people in there like Jim's Retro Zone. I mean, I
Yes.
know Jim. He just started his channel recently, and I see when I'm watching his videos, I can see where the inspiration from him watching other videos that I know. I've seen some of his videos where he's got inspiration from someone like the No Swear Gamer and from myself. And he even spoke with me about how do I set up a channel, how do I do this, how do I do
Right.
that, and I can see his passion, and I love that. I love that. We're inspiring other people to come out of the darkness and say, hey, I can do that too. And that's what I love about YouTube. It's it should be that way. And kind of, I don't know why, but sometimes I just kind of get annoyed sometimes with YouTube being when I see things like famous people having a channel, because it's kind of like, why are you doing this? You know, this
Yeah.
is for the people like us. This is not for people who are already famous, because they can start a channel and the next day have 20 million subscribers, right? They don't need it.
Right.
This is for
Exactly.
people. This is for us. And one of the things that kind of annoys me is when people start making comments about the quality of videos and all that stuff. Now, we're all people here using our cell phones. Like you said, you use a cell phone, you use your laptop, we have a webcam. We don't have anything fancy. I mean, I'm in an office right now with a webcam setup. I don't have all the money to spend on all, even with editing. I have a software that my brother-in-law gave me that he bought. It's kind of like a hand-me-down.
Right.
And I
Right.
use that for my editing. I'm learning on the spot. So it's just kind of, it, it just adds to this whole thing of we just got to make this stuff up as we go along,
Absolutely.
and hope people like us and watch. And it's great. I mean, I love doing this. I love coming up with the concepts, and that's what I wanted to move into, was like, so when you're deciding to do videos, what inspires you? Like, what processes do you go to come up with your next video? Because I don't know if you have an upload schedule. Some do, some don't. Some just
I don't.
upload whenever they feel like it. Others upload on a specific day and a specific time.
Right.
So what processes do you go through to come up with your videos and from start to finish?
To be honest with you, I really the funny part is I don't plan it ahead like that. I mean, yes, I had some collaborations that I've done already. And yes, the answer is yes, Mr. Toon. I was born in 1981. So
I knew you were
yes.
going to answer that one.
But I just go with the flow. Like if I had pickups, I'll wait maybe a week and I'll decide to do a video on my pickups or my Pixel Pals. I'm a very major Pixel Pal collector. Love them. I love Pixel Pals. Streaming, I try to stream on my days off, so I don't have an actual schedule. I stream when I can. I know it's better to have a schedule, but because of my hectic schedule, I do when I can. Same with collaborations. I just collabed with Rock Solid Productions, NES Addict, Solid Nate, Mega Dan, and Nostalgia. We just did a collaboration. I'm doing one now in the future with the same crew, except we have Nefarious West in our crew. I have a collaboration now coming up with Chris Pico. Have you heard of him? Christopher Pico, old ass
Yes,
retro gamer.
actually.
Yep,
Oh, you're
I
doing
have a
that too, eh?
collab. Yes, I just
Is
finished
that the
one.
movie thing?
Yes, sir.
I'm on there too for the third
Awesome.
episode. So we're gonna be together
Yes,
on that one.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. And I already filmed that, so we're just waiting for that to bang out. So that's
yeah.
pretty
So
awesome.
did I.
My own videos, I do it when I can. That's all I could say. I can't really. I try to have a video out. Probably I want to say I try for Sundays and Thursdays, but it could be anytime I have the time to do it. You know what I mean?
That's true. I mean, we have to
I
work around our schedules, right?
Yeah.
Like even with me doing the live chats, like I try to do a schedule for my videos, because then I can say, okay, I'm gonna make sure I have the time on Tuesday and Thursday to put out a video. So
Right.
I got the rest of the week to come up with the video concept, do it all the stuff, and at least get the 2 videos out. But when it comes to the live chats, I can't set a time and a date always, because I have to work with you guys. I mean, I have to work with your schedule. I also have to understand people are in time zones. There's a bunch of people that I wanted to do some live chats with, or
Right.
might sell in the future, but they're 14 hours ahead of me or behind me or something, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of Top Hat Gaming Man, but
Yes.
yeah, I was in conversations with him and he was totally into it and stuff. But it's like he's almost like 10 hours ahead of me or something. So
Yeah.
it's hard. And before I even started doing this, I did a thing with Synth Spacies, and he's Australian, so he's like 14 hours. So I ended up joining in
Wow.
on his chat, thing, which wasn't a live chat, but it was done over the same concept where we're all live. It just wasn't
Right.
going live. And for me, because I was the one in Canada being on at the off time, I had to be there at like midnight, like 12 o'clock at night. And that's late for me. I'm an old dude now. I have a job and I have a wife and kid and stuff like
Yep.
that. I'm in bed by 11 at the latest in most cases. So for me to be up at 12 and doing a thing for an hour was tough, but I did it. And I was like, geez, I would love to do more. But I mean, as far as everybody else, there's a lot of people that are American and they might have like only a couple hours, so I can work
Yeah.
with them. I did a bunch. I just did Smash JT. That was an awesome cast. I did the Atari Creep. And so some of these people are just like different time zones, and I work with them. So I can't say I'm always going to do a live. I wish I could be at a stage where I could say every so and so time I'm going to do a live cast.
Yes.
But part of my problem was I didn't know if I'd be able to get enough people interested either. I mean, I didn't take count yet, but I haven't done a whole lot of these things. And I don't know if I'm going to know enough people to say this is going to be a regular thing on a regular basis. But one of the things that I do fear is running out of ideas or content ideas. Have you ever come into that kind of a situation where you thought, I don't know what to do? Or do you just whatever? If I don't have
Honestly,
a video idea, no video.
No, I thought about that. I think that's actually normal. I thought about that. It's like, okay, what if I have so many ideas, but what if I'm done with them and I have nothing else to talk about? But you want to know something? There's always going to be something to talk about because gaming is still alive. So even if you're done talking about the NES, which is never going to happen for me, but if we still have the Nintendo Switch, like an example that T-Belly mentioned. Why isn't there YouTube on it yet? I'm waiting for that. Like, there's so much stuff to talk about. We're always gonna have something to talk about in this community. I think it's great. It is.
Well,
And play. Stream.
I think
you don't
too,
have nothing to
because
talk about stream.
I think too because you're in a better situation than I am because you're a modern gamer as well, right? Like you play the new stuff. Like I don't know if you play like things like Fortnite or anything.
I do play the new stuff, but I prefer to stream retro games. And the reason for that is I feel like I try to stream God of War. It takes hours. And I find you can't interact with the chat as much because you have to concentrate on the story. So games like that is tougher to stream, but if you play retro games, I mean they're more, I mean, yes, they're complicated, but it's a little bit more simpler to keep up with the chat. It's a lot more fun to me because it's not as long. It's not going to take you 18 hours to beat. Well, for me it might for Adventure Island from the way I was going tonight.
That was long, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I know what you're talking about because I remember when I first tried to do like game streaming, I was doing things like Atari 2600. That's my thing. I'm the real, true, original gamer guy. I'm the from the get-go of gaming. So when I'm doing my stuff, I'm typically in the Atari and television, ColecoVision, everything right up to Nintendo. So Nintendo to me is modern. That's pretty sad, but it is.
Right.
So, but yeah, like I was thinking like I can't do an hour stream of a single Atari game. Well, I mean, I can, but it gets boring. Like an Atari game, if you think about it, you either have a game that loops, like Pac-Man, for instance. You complete all the dots, you go back to the same thing, you complete all the dots. Who's going to watch that for an hour? Nobody, right? Everybody's going to fall asleep. And even up to Nintendo, I noticed like some Nintendo games can be done. Like I tried to do a live stream of RoboCop, and I got to a point where I was like done, and I'm like, but I don't feel like stopping the live stream now. What do I do? Do I start over again? I don't feel like playing it anymore. And so it's tough when it comes to the retro games that if you're going to do a dedicated live stream on a specific game, it better be a game that you can actually play for quite a long time, right?
Right.
And
Well,
some could.
I've done it where I actually finished the game so fast that I continued. I think it was when I was playing DuckTales. I think I played Punch Out afterwards, but I have a lot of physical like carts, but I also have a RetroPie, and I have a lot of games on that. So I'll just click on another game. Do you know what I mean? To keep it going. And it also isn't just about what you play, because I know streamers personally that I don't care about what they play. I'm there for their personality. I'm there for the conversation, just to hang out, say what's up, show some love, and I can be there for a good 2 hours without caring of what they're playing.
That's
That's
true.
just me. Everybody's different though.
That's true. I mean, I probably am in the same boat. I mean, I don't think most people care what I'm playing. It's just that they want to speak on the chat and stuff. They just want to
Right.
be there and talk. And like I've put a lot of thought into like what do I want to do. And recently the kind of streaming I've been doing is kind of random. So
Okay.
like with Atari, it was I'm like, okay, I'm going to do player's choice or whatever. So I'm going to start playing a game that I want to play. I want people to come into the chat and say, hey, play this game. Okay, I'll change that game. And then I
Okay.
started doing it with Nintendo. I'm like, what did I do? I did a few like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where I was just playing that game. And what was the other one? I don't know. I did a couple where I was just playing the one game. Then I decided to change it up and say, you know what? I'm just going to do it random. So I'm going to play. When I get bored of playing this game, I'm going to quit, and then I'm going to move on to another game until after a while, I'm like, okay, now I'm playing Donkey Kong. Now I'm playing Mario Brothers. Now I'm playing,
I like that.
whatever. Yeah, so
I
it
like
just kind of
that.
randomizes, so you never know what I'm going
Yes.
to play. And I try to avoid some of the games that are too much. Like I think one of the last ones I did was I started with Dragon Warrior. And I started at the very beginning of Dragon Warrior. And if anybody knows Dragon Warrior, you know how slow that game is. I mean, it's
Okay.
slow.
I never I never played it.
The original part
Yeah.
one, you never played it?
Never. No.
But yeah, it is slow. I mean, you are battling slime for one experience point, one gold point, and you need like a ton of them to get anywhere. And it's just
Wow.
you can't go anywhere. You're literally going in circles, just battling and honestly, I think that's where the grind came from. One of those type of games
Yeah.
where the grind is just like it kills you. And I played it for quite a while. I got to a point where I'm just like, okay, I'm done. And I just okay, I'm going to switch to another game randomly. And I just kind of picked another game, just went from there. And I found that kind of is fun too. But I think it's exactly what you
Yeah.
just said. I don't think people care. I think they just want to be there on the chat. They just want to be watching you play games. They don't care. I'm sure like Mr. Toon there in the chat,
Yeah. It's like hanging
he's
out with
always
your
in my
friends.
chat. I don't think he cares what I'm playing. I could be playing anything on Atari, Coleco, whatever. And I think he's just happy to see people playing these retro gaming. So it's kind of fun. I mean, but yeah, I mean, but I wanted to talk too
I agree
also
with
about,
that. I don't have an
you know,
Atari.
oh,
No, I
well,
have no experience with the Atari at all.
I'm assuming Nintendo was your first, right? Like
Yes.
that's where you kind of got introduced in the whole gaming world. And so did you
Yep.
move up the line? Did you go from Nintendo to Super Nintendo to
Yes, I
GameCube
did.
to N64 all the way up?
It actually went Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64. Then it was PlayStation. I believe GameCube, PS2. Believe it or not, I usually get a Nintendo console first off because I'm such a Nintendo fan. The only time I did not get a Nintendo console right away is when the Wii came out. I actually got a PS3 instead. The Wii came a little bit later. I like the Wii, some of the games, but I wasn't big on the Wii. I don't like motion controllers at all. I don't know why. I can't. It's like Wii bowling's fun, especially when you're drinking, but
Yeah.
I'm just not big on like playing Zelda like this. I just wasn't my thing.
You know,
So,
that actually I kind of agree on that one. Hey GameStars, and how's it going? I agree on that one because I was sold on the whole Nintendo Wii thing when it came out. I didn't buy one right away because I didn't have the money. But by the
yeah.
time I had the money, it was kind of a few years into it. And I really love the bowling concept, because if you've ever played any bowling games prior to Wii bowling, like have you ever played bowling on earlier systems? I have. I played it on the Intellivision. I played it on the Atari. I played it on the PlayStation. It's not the same. I mean, when you got a D-pad in your hand and stuff, it's not. But when you actually can like go through the motions of bowling,
Yeah.
and that kind of sold me on the whole Wii thing. But like what you just said, after that, I was like, now what do I do with this thing? I just spent like all this money on this system.
Yes.
I was kind of impressed by the Mario, what is it, Super Mario Wii or something like that? The one that was the big Super Mario game. And by the time I picked it up, but for whatever reason, I didn't get too far in it. I mean, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the fact that you have to keep doing this thing with the controller, or you have to use the Wiimote, or I don't know, something about it. I couldn't keep going. I still have
agree
the
with
game.
you. I feel the same way with the Mario Galaxy. I didn't enjoy playing like that. There are great games that came out for it. Like I really like the Smash Brothers because it had story mode. I really like that game, but it's just the controllers are awful. And then the virtual console, like the virtual, like going in there and actually downloading old games on the Wii,
Oh yeah,
that was awesome. I'm happy they did that. I wish they would do that again for the Switch. I don't know what their problem is because they would make a lot of money. I
and they
know
just
I'm down for
discontinued that
rebuying everything.
recently.
Yeah, yeah, I know it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, they
I'm
discontinued it.
upset by that.
I was on the fence by that. You know, the only game that I really wanted from the Virtual Console was the original Super Mario Brothers 2, not the one that we got in North America, the original one. And I downloaded
Okay.
that one, and it annoyed me because if you remember, most of the Nintendo games were like 500 points.
Right.
So I think that equaled like $5 or something like that.
Yeah.
But the Super Mario Brothers 2 original version was 600 points. And so it kind of threw off my balance. Like I think I had like $20 or something I put into it. I thought, you know, I can get 4 games, but I couldn't because that one specifically cost me 600 points. And then I had this lingering, like, you know, odd number or even number or whatever, odd number going on there. So the games I ended up getting was a Castlevania game, which I think was kind of a copy of an older Castlevania game. I don't know what it was called, but it was pretty cool. And that was it. But my problem was that with that was I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I downloading classic games on my Wii when I have them on the Nintendo downstairs already? I can plug that in and play it.
Convenience. That's exactly why.
Convenience.
It's convenience. That's why everybody pretty much wanted the same thing for the Switch. It's kind of like, I know some people are against emulating, and I 100% understand why. I personally have nothing against it. I enjoy playing my RetroPie, but think about it. It's all about the convenience. You have everything in one system. So you don't have to worry about hooking up 10,000 other systems or going to a different room to play it. That's exactly what it is.
That's true.
I'm not gonna lie. I would love it for the Switch just to take it with me. You know, the portability is why the Switch is so amazing. We got Megadan in the house, everybody.
All right.
Megadan just got married, everybody.
Megadan got married? Get out of here. We got
Yes,
to throw
he
him a
did.
party.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
That's
club,
Megadan.
brother. Congrats on 800 subs, bro. How did I reach 800 subs? I don't remember reaching 800 subs. I was at like 790 when I started this thing.
Congrats, then. Here we go.
Crazy.
On the road to 1K.
Actually, I was gonna say that too because I actually remember it was what about a week, maybe a little bit more than a week ago. You did your 1,000 sub special. Yeah, I was watching that. I watched a bit of it. I saw the NES blanket, and you know, you were talking about your positivity, and you were talking about a lot of great stuff there.
Thank you.
Today you're at like what, 1,082? You jumped up like 82 subs in a week. How? What's the secret?
Honestly, I don't know. Maybe because I'm giving away an NES Classic. I don't know, honestly. I'm just doing the same thing I'm normally doing. I think it's exposure, to be honest with you. Doing the collaboration with Rockside, I gained subs. Doing the collaboration with NES Addict, I gained subs. Megadan, who YouTuber of the month, giving us a shout out. You know what I mean? We gained subs, so it's all about promoting one another, and I think that's what's helping me, to be honest with you,
That's
because I'm not. Yeah, that was the. I don't put videos often like that, so yeah, I don't. It has to be that, and then that giveaway bumped me a lot. Once I hit 1,000 and I did the giveaway video, I went up a lot. So I think a lot of people want an NES Classic.
I guess yeah, I guess that proves the question I was going to ask is, like, does it actually work? Because I've seen other YouTubers doing stuff like that, doing the whole giveaway things. It's kind of like, you know, they do with their Patreons. I don't know if you have a Patreon. I didn't check that,
I do
but
not yet.
some do the whole. You don't have a pay. Okay,
No.
well, I know some of them do that, and I always wonder, like, do does that work? Like, does the giveaways and all that stuff? Because I've never done anything like that before, and you know, I've seen a lot of people do it. I'm like, you know, is that something I need to do, or should I just be like, whatever?
I think
Like,
it does help a lot, honestly, because people find out about your channel when they're trying to look for something, and they may see other videos that you do that they actually enjoy, and the only way to get their attention is doing a giveaway. But I enjoy doing giveaways because I want to help people. I want to help people with their collection. And I have done that. That isn't on video. And I know a lot of people in the chat can vouch for me for that. I've given games. I've bought games for people because I want to help build their collection. I want to help. I know what it's like. I have the same type of passion, and I've had good things happen to me. I was blessed a lot, and I want to pass it along. It's like pay it forward. So that's
that's
pretty much
true.
why I like to do at giveaways.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the same boat. I've been on a bunch of Facebook groups. One of my favorite Facebook groups right now, outside of my own, the Retro Gaming and Retro Toys. Shameless plug. Uh, no, outside of that, I mean, Atari Age. That's the Facebook group I love. I've been on that group long before I was doing videos, like long before I joined that group because I'm an Atari guy. I love Atari. I love it.
Okay.
I love the Atari. I love the Intellivision. I love the classics. So I've been on that group, and I know I've spoken with a few people, and yeah, I've there's one guy I remember. Uh, he saw a game I had, and I was like, hey, you need that? I'm gonna mail it to you. Oh yeah, the games are also talking about in Television Invasion, another
Yeah.
great group. I love all these groups because you feel like these are your people. You get in there and you're
Right.
like, hey, they love the same stuff that I love, and you can pose questions like if you're a collector or stuff, especially with the really old stuff, because there isn't a whole lot of information out there. So if you need to learn about something, you go into these groups. You're like, what, like, I don't know about you, but like, do you ever go to like flea markets and stuff and source out stuff? Because
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that's something we all do.
Well, I
And
met a lot of people through Facebook groups that are selling games. I actually have two friends that I made for life that were selling things on Facebook, and we hooked up, and now like whenever they get a good deal, they'll contact me first. So it's actually good to join groups on social media. It's good to have a Twitter, it's good to have a Discord, it's good to have Instagram. The more social media you have, the more people are going to see that you have a channel, the more people you could meet. You know what I mean? And it's the same with shout outs. I try to give everybody a shout out at least once in my video. You will hear me talk about at least somebody in my video because there are so many people in this community that have inspired me. There are so many people that I sincerely like family. And there's quite a few in the chat right now, and they know who I'm talking about. They actually have Voxer with me. We talk daily, and it's great to have a group of guys that we could be like, hey, I'm having a problem with OBS. I'm having a problem with editing. Can you help me out? And they're there, and like we have that same knowledge. You know what I mean? To help each other out with things, technical difficulties, difficulties with cartridges if we can't get them to work right. Stuff like that. It's amazing. It really is. I love these guys. I feel like I've known them my whole life.
that's true. Actually, I've done the same. I mean, when I was trying to learn how to do streaming and streaming video games and stuff like that, I did reach out to some of my the YouTubers that I've watched, and they've given me lots of advice. Like you said, with OBS, it's simple, but there's a lot of things to it that you might not know right off the get-go. Um, and even just streaming gaming. I mean, I don't know how you stream. I think you might use a capture card. Am I right?
Elgato. I use the Elgato HD, and then I go through OBS.
Yeah. See, that's something that I don't do yet. I haven't figured. I don't. Unfortunately, I don't have the proper setup. I wish I got to get myself together because right now I'm streaming in my office. I wish I wasn't. I wish I was streaming in my man cave because I mean this is my background. I put this poster up there. It's a nice little gamers only poster. My daughter gave me that.
Poster. I like it.
Yeah, she gave me that. My daughter gave me that for Father's Day, so that's cool. I got my Monopoly game there, Monopoly Gamer. But this is not where I wish I was doing it. I wish I was doing it down in my man cave, but
Yeah.
I don't have a computer down there. I have my computer upstairs,
Right.
and so you know, it's just a case of configuration. But I don't know. It's tough. It's like I want to stream, but I want to stream with a nice background. All kind of, I don't know.
The only
Anyways.
thing I could do is give as a piece of advice, one step at a time. Like me, I started with the videos with the cell phone, and then I got my Elgato much later. I got my laptop much later. So I do one piece at a time. Now I'm blessed that I can stream with the Elgato. And then eventually I'd like to get an actual camera. Eventually I'd like to get the editing software. So it's just one step at a time. You're moving forward, and you considering have a lot of subs. So you're doing well. You're doing something right, And I think that you're gonna get your stuff. Have some patience. And you could get laptops for cheap. Elgato's only like, it depends on what you get. I think it cost me a little over $100 for the Elgato HD. They have ones that are much more expensive, but I gotta watch my budget. It could be really pricey.
That's true. Actually, yeah. Buying this webcam that I'm using now. This is the is it the Logitech HD 1080p webcam? I spent like $100 on that because when my first webcam I bought, I paid like very little money on it. It was a really crappy old one, and it was just before I was going to do my live chat with Sonia, and I'm like, this isn't going to work. I mean, I look blurry. I look like crap. And so I'm like, no, I got to do this right. So I spent my money on that. But then for doing streaming, I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm going to have to buy a proper capture card. I'm going to have to learn how to connect it. And the fact is, I don't have my computer downstairs where I have all my systems.
Right.
All my stuff is downstairs. All my Nintendos, my Colecos, everything is downstairs. So when I do my videos, and I'm sure you've watched some of my stuff.
Yes, I have.
See that I literally just take my okay, I'll show you. I have this. It's an iPad. It's a crappy old iPad. It's broken. The screen's shattered, but it works.
That's exactly what matters.
I point this at the screen and I do my videos. And so you don't get the best quality. I understand that. Some of my gaming videos, the lighting is off. It's too bright. You can't see. Whatever. I mean, I just make the best of it, and I talk over it, and I try to use my personality in there, and people like it. So it's not like people are like, "Oh man, this sucks. Get off YouTube." So
see, that's what matters. It's all about personality. It's about you, and that's why we're watching you. It's not about like if you have clear camera. It's not about that. It's how you do your thing, and you're doing something right because you're almost at 1,000 already. You know what I mean? So don't even worry about that. And as far as that, since your systems are downstairs and you don't want to lug a big PC down there, get like a cheap laptop eventually. That'll help you. That's what I do to stream. Nobody realizes that I use a laptop. It works. Megadan, you could vouch. I believe you do the same thing. A laptop, and you get the capture card, and you'll be good to go. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, that's where I'd like to get. There's a bunch of things I actually need. My lighting is crap. Okay. If anybody, and you mentioned this earlier, there's a lot of you people in the chat who do YouTube. Lighting is key.
Right.
And that was one of the things, like in here, it's not too bad. The lighting's okay. But my man cave, the lighting is crap. I got tube lights, the fluorescent tube light bulb things in one side, like literally right under my TV or above my TV, I should say. And then on the other side, I got like light that's far away. So I
Right.
constantly have a shadow in my face. It's crap. That's something that I hope to one day, when I can fix up the basement,
Absolutely.
do that. But it's not going to stop me. I'm not going to be like, forget it. I'm going to stop doing YouTube until I get. No, I don't believe in that. I think if you have a means of shooting a video, if you have a phone, a camera, anything, do it. You got the
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you got the drive and you want to do it, do it. People will watch you. You don't have to
Absolutely.
have the best setup in the world.
Yeah, I agree
It's
with
it's
that.
unnecessary.
I would like to get a green screen eventually. That's going to be on my list of getting maybe another year or two. We'll see.
I've thought about that. I've watched a few YouTubers who say, hey, I got a green screen now. There's pros and cons. I mean, I hear it's not easy to do.
No.
There could be some issues with it. It's difficult, but it's doable. There's a lot of people. I think RGT85 does green screen. Could be wrong. But there's a bunch that kind of figured it out and they can pull it off.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Rax the
it's
Great does green screen, and it looks beautiful.
yeah. So right now, I mean, when I do my streaming, I'm using emulator. Do you ever use emulators? I can't remember if you said that or not, or do you just use straight console to
Uh, I
capture?
do both. I actually use the Super Retro Trio Plus that plays the NES, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis games. But I also have the actual hardware consoles. I don't really use them. I don't have HD to connect them yet. But
Mm.
I use that or my RetroPie or the NES Classic or SNES Classic, a blend of any of those. But I actually just ordered a composite to HDMI adapter. I
Hmm.
just ordered one of those so I could start streaming N64 and GameCube games and PS2.
Oh, that'll be a lot of fun.
Yes.
It's one of the things, like for me right now, if you watch any of my streams, I have to do ROMs because like I said, I don't have the setup to do the capture card issue. And something just popped up. I don't know if you've been watching the latest news that's been going around. Uh, Review Tech USA did something on this, and I think there was another YouTuber that did it. Um, Apparently, Nintendo is going after these websites that are downloading or providing ROMs. Have you heard about that?
Yes, I have. One of the major ones they're going after was is it Love ROMs?
Yep.
I think that's one of them, and that's one of the ROMs that I actually use to put games into my NES Classic when I first got it. It's sad because I really like it. Nintendo is funny with that kind of stuff though. We all know that out of everybody, Nintendo is the most strict when it comes to their games. As far
Absolutely.
as emulation, I mean, they don't sell it's not like it's Switch games where it's stopping their sales. They're already sold their NES games. We're buying
Long
them
time
from
ago.
people. We're buying them from, you know, retro stores or whoever else may have them online most of the time at conventions. It's not hurting Nintendo. That's the
Yeah,
thing. It's not
T-Belly.
like I don't agree. Like, let people play. They want to play your games that they used to play as a kid. Let them alone. Stop it already. You're making money off the Switch. We're not streaming Switch games. We're not emulating 3DS games. I see no problem with it. That's just me personally. Them doing things like that is just, making it harder for us. It's not like we could go out and buy these things like little Samson. I'm not spending $1,000 on a game. There's no way. That's like my income taxes. It's
It's
a wrap for
insane.
me. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and like since you do streaming, have you gotten those Nintendo emails like saying that this is copyright and yada yada? Have you gotten those?
I believe it or not, no. The only one that I got a copyright, which is gonna sound really dumb, I got copyright for Super Mario 3 Mix. It's like not even a actual Nintendo game, it's a hacked game. So it has like a blend of Mario 3, Mario 2, Mario Lands, Mario Land 2. It's like a combination of all those games put together. And I got copyrighted for the music. I have not got
Yep.
copyrighted from Nintendo yet.
From the music, like SoCan or something like one of
Right.
the people who owns. That's interesting. Like, does that game use the original music from the games?
No, it does not at all. It kind of it'll take a song. You'll recognize the song in the game from a level, but it kind of they do like a spin, like they'll make it a lower beat or a higher beat and just mix it. It's a little it's definitely
Hmm.
not the original song. I recommend trying that game. That game's amazing.
Is that's on the Switch, right?
No, Super Mario 3 Mix is actually an NES reproduction cart. It's a
Oh,
hacked game. So yeah, it's one of those games that people like fan base people make.
it's like a
And
pro,
oh,
like a homebrew or a hack, I
absolutely,
guess you want to
exactly.
call it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder how. Yeah, I guess some parts of it are flagged. Like I find like the games that I've done that have got flagged are the very popular Mario games, like Mario 1, 2, and 3 for sure. Actually, I don't know if 2 got. Maybe it did. Zelda, Legend of Zelda. Zelda 2 doesn't get flagged. I guess they don't care about that game.
Oh
It's like
wow, really?
they could care less about that one. But Zelda 1, I know I've gotten that one. Even I did one where it was a what was it? It was Zelda randomizer. I did a video on that. It was like a live stream thing, and I used this program, Zelda Randomizer. I don't know if you've heard of it, but what it does is it will you have the ROM, you put it into this program, and it will randomize everything. So all the items are now scattered, and some of the entrances, like where the entrance is to say level 3, would not be level 3 anymore. It might be the lady who hands you the letter, or
Okay,
so the whole game is just like you just took Zelda and just mixed it all up,
mix it up.
and so every time you play it, you play a different version of Zelda. And so I did that, and that got flagged. So I'm assuming what they do is they figure it out on the music, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would say that
This
they
is why people kind of stream silence. They'll silent the games. I don't. I personally don't do that, but there are people that would rather mute it than to get copyrighted. Nintendo, I have to read this out loud because Optimus says Nintendo is the old guy who yells at kids to get off his lawn.
yeah, I just read that. That's classic.
It
I
is.
remember those people.
That is fantastic.
Yeah,
It's
well,
true.
it kind of the same thing, right? This whole lawsuit thing. That's what they're
Yeah,
doing. They're saying, hey, you're selling these ROMs are like you said, these are like going back 30 years almost, like
that's right.
84, 85, and they're caring that people are wanting to play this game. And then like, when I first got flagged, I'm a noob to this stuff. I'm going to admit it. I'm a noob to the streaming and all that stuff. So when I first started streaming and I got my first intimidating email from Nintendo saying that, or well, it's not from Nintendo, it's from YouTube, but saying that, this is copyrighted content, I was like, what is going on? And I took a screenshot, I put it on my Facebook and everything else. And I got a lot of backlash from that. People are like, oh, look at this guy. He's bitching about the fact that he's, stealing their content and so like I was still new to this whole thing. I'm like, but my thought going into this was, why are they complaining? Shouldn't they be happy that I'm promoting it
I'm
for
on your
free?
side. Absolutely. I'm on your side with
Like,
that. You're always gonna have
I
somebody that has
guess
something to say. You're always gonna have somebody that, in the comments below that always have something negative. And those people I would just not even pay any mind to. They sometimes people are passionate about their opinions, a little bit too passionate, and they don't
yeah.
know how to deal with somebody else that has a different opinion.
I guess I had to like, after a while I kind of started to look at it from a different point of view, and I realized, okay, I'm a small YouTuber. I think a lot of us are. We're small. It's hard to show where that line is between the small and the big. But I can kind of see it where someone like Angry Video Game Nerd does a video on Nintendo.
Right.
He makes money off of it. We don't.
Right.
It's just plain and simple. Even before this whole change up in YouTube with the monetization when that first happened. Because when I set up my channel, I went through all the motions because I started to do some research, and I'm like, hey, I can create, I can set it up to monetize. I knew I wouldn't get anything out of it, but just to set it up in the first place. And then they changed that. They said, okay, you got to have
Right.
1,000 subscribers. You got to have this many views. So I understood that. Okay. But even then, before that happened, I think, from 2016, September 2016 to the point that they started that, I think I made about $20, which is nothing in the grand scheme of
Right.
things. And you can't even claim that money until you make at least 100. So I got nothing. And
Yeah.
so for them to worry about the little guys seemed kind of odd. And but then again, they have to kind of look at it on a platform basis. They have to say, okay, if Joe Blow here, who has 1 million subscribers, does a Nintendo video, he's going to make money off of their intellectual property. So I kind of got it at that point. I'm like, okay, I get it. It is in a sense, but at the same time, how many of us YouTubers are not using intellectual property when we do our videos?
Right.
Like, honestly, I mean, can you do a video that's entirely your own property? Where,
Right.
like, even if you're doing movies, cartoons, toys, you name it, it's something that is owned by another company. Like,
Yeah.
how could, like, when you do your streams, you're streaming video games that are not yours.
Right.
So where's Nintendo trying to go with this? That's what I was kind of questioning. Like, what is their end game here?
Yeah.
Do they not want us?
It's like they. I don't know how to explain it. Like Nintendo is, to me, from what I've seen, they're the money hungry people. Honestly, they're mainly, they care about their money. You know what I mean? Um, I'm a major Mario fan. Major Mario fan. I have Mario all over my bedroom. I have Mario figures and dolls and like,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
So there you go. Like I'm a major Mario fan, but you would think they would appreciate somebody like that, a fan actually promoting their stuff. You know what I mean? Talking about it, making people want to buy something. You know what I'm saying? I don't get them. I never did.
But
PlayStation, like,
at the same time, though, it's only certain Mario games, right?
right,
Like it's
right.
only the big sellers, and like I've streamed. Okay, I'm a Donkey Kong fan. That's my thing. I love Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
I played it on the Intellivision, which a lot of people say was the crappiest version. I don't care. I love Donkey Kong. I've done a lot of Donkey Kong content. Never once has any one of those got flagged. That Donkey Kong is where Mario made his debut. That is where he came into
Yes.
like life.
Yes.
His name was Jumpman at the time, but it was clearly Mario.
Right.
Why don't they care about that? Why don't they flag that? Why do they not care about Donkey Kong, but they care about Super Mario Brothers? Is that when he became really big? Like,
Yeah, I
is
think
that where
that's
they're
what it is. It's where their money went. You know, it was the biggest, one of their biggest games. It's like, it kind of, I don't even know if they would flag Mario Odyssey because I thought that game did phenomenal. So that would be interesting. I haven't streamed that if they actually flag Mario Odyssey because that's an amazing game. It's one of their bigger games, or popular games, I should say.
Mario Odyssey? Is that that's on the Switch, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have a Switch, but I'm poor. I can't
No,
afford
it's
one.
okay.
Uh, maybe one day when it's a retro system, I could pick one up. But yeah, I'm kind of behind. Even Galaxy, I didn't play that on the Wii. It didn't appeal to me. I'm not the 3D gamer, so
Right.
Nintendo 64 to me is complicated. I've played Mario 64 and I'm still lost. I'm still behind on this stuff. I'm a 2D guy. I like the 2D, the Donkey Kong thing. So
I do love
that's
2D actually. Like the 2D Zeldas, the old Legend of Zeldas I like better personally.
yeah. I wish they would have made more. I mean, I know we got like well, the Game Boy games are pretty good.
Yeah.
The only one that I've actually played though was the first one, Link's Awakening, and I've beaten it, and I need to revisit that game. That's another one of those games on my list of I got to do a video and maybe a stream on it or something. But then there was like the DS and all that stuff. They came out with more. I know there was a bunch out afterwards that I'm not too familiar with, but they look pretty good. I mean, I just wish they. I kind of got annoyed that they stopped at Zelda 2 on the NES. Like,
Yeah.
It really sucks. But that's the way they work, right? That's their model. They make games for their current systems. The new system comes out, they stop. Then they go onto that system.
Yeah.
You want to continue, like with Super Mario World. You want to play the next Super Mario game, you got to buy the new system. Makes sense, right?
Exactly.
That's just the way it goes.
They do that on purpose, but that's why I also like homebrew games. Because homebrew games, like the hack games, it's like a new spin on a old game, like an old NES game or old SNES game. I love looking for homebrew hack games at conventions because it's like someone knows what we want. They know what we want. They want a new Legend of Zelda. They want a new Contra. They want a new Punch Out. It's amazing. You have to try these games. They're like that's the kind of stuff I like to see. I like
Even
to see
Atari.
fresh. Exactly. Even Atari. They have hacked Atari games. They have hacked Famicom games. It's amazing.
And homebrews. Yeah,
yes.
You got all the homebrews. There's a Halo game on Atari. Halo 2000 on Atari 2600. I mean, it exists.
Oh yeah, I think I seen that. I seen that at the convention, and I seen there was another one that I couldn't believe. Like, what was it? Was it Splatterhouse on the NES?
Splatterhouse on NES?
Yeah, they have like I think Jeff, you bought that when we went to Too Many Games. Jeff, you got Splatterhouse for the
Jeff
NES.
Good Gamer.
Yes, yes. I was with him. Him and I were all over that table. I think I got Back to the Future too, and he like walked away like 4 games from that table. So he knows.
Yes.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff.
Yeah, that's something that I'm like really. Yeah, he is. He's awesome. We had a good time. Too Many Games. I definitely recommend going there one day.
Where is that? Is that
Pennsylvania, Oaks, Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania.
It's right by
start with a
Philadelphia.
P.
Yeah.
It was either Pennsylvania or Philadelphia. I'm sorry. I'm the Canadian here.
It's right
I live near Toronto. I don't know anything outside of Toronto.
I only been to Niagara Falls in Canada. That's as far
nice.
as I went. Yeah.
I go there all the time. I had my honeymoon there. We go there all the time. Pretty much every year we go to Niagara Falls. I love that place.
Yeah, it's nice.
And Great Wolf Lodge is right there. We go there pretty much every year for a family thing. My daughter loves it.
We have one here. We have a Great Wolf Lodge in PA.
You got a bunch in America. There's one in Canada. One in Canada.
Wow.
And that's in Niagara Falls. We're lucky we live near it. America.
How do you put up with the winter?
Huh?
How do you put up with the winter up there?
Oh, winter sucks. Pretty much what happens is winter comes in, we hide in our homes, we struggle to get to work, we sit on the highway, freezing our ass off in the car, and we just wait till spring. Winter sucks. That would be,
I hate snow. I would hide.
Oh yeah, many a days I'm out there shoveling. A couple of times I've had to go out, shovel my driveway like 3 times in the day, 4 times in a day. Just
oh no, really?
No,
I can't handle that. I could not handle that. I wish we were bears. I wish we could just sleep through the winter.
Hibernate?
Yes, let's do that.
My wife says that all the time. She wishes she could hibernate.
And then when we wake up, we'll be real thin.
When you got to get up at like 7 in the morning and possibly shovel that crap that the snowplow likes to drive by and put a big wall in front of your driveway, and you got to shovel that out just to pull your car out to get to work, it's not a good day.
Oh,
By the time you get home, and then you get up in the morning, it's dark. You leave work, it's dark. It sucks. I've often thought maybe it's better for me to move out of this country, but I mean, I don't know. No matter where you go, you're gonna have problems, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I look at it as like we don't have it too bad here. I mean,
no, you don't.
You guys got your own politic issues.
Yes, we do.
You got your Donald Trump lovers, and stuff like that. Um, I wanted to also bring up this whole slap thing. What is that? What's the slap? I see the slap going on. And I've
So
watched a couple of your videos, and I've where did that come from?
you know what? My whole family speaks like that. I don't know why. It's like Hispanics are so lovable. We want to hurt people. We just squeeze when we hug somebody. We squeeze them. So it's like I always said I want to slap somebody. I just want to. I get happy when I eat and I'm full. I'm happy. I want to slap the waitress. It's like it's just a thing to say that I'm extremely happy. And I have told that to a waitress. She just stared at me and then she was cracking up. She's like, I've never been told that before. I was like, this macaroni and cheese is banging. I want to slap you. And she just stared at me and I was like, it's okay. I do it out of
She's
love.
like, do I take that as a threat?
Yeah, Die Hard in the chat is the one that actually me the tune JLuv with the slap. He came out with that idea because I'm always telling him I want to slap him. Um but yeah, it's just like a big hug. Like instead of kissing you, I'll slap you. You know what I mean? And if you make me happy, extra happy, that's 5 slaps. So yeah, Die Hard definitely drew that tune JLuv. I have a shirt and it's because of him. And he told me if I ever have a video game, it would have to be that character just like in Battletoads, where my hand gets really big and I just slap all the enemies.
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah, I remember now. Battletoads, right there.
yeah,
So you don't
yeah.
have a video game yet, eh? You're not
We'll have to talk to John Riggs about that.
John Riggs. Actually, yeah, I've been in contact with John Riggs. He's also interested in doing a live chat, so it's just
He's
a case of
awesome.
yeah. He's pretty much just like hit me up when the time is free and stuff, and if he's available, and yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But you have your own like graphics, so your graphics that you have on your channel, like those are pretty cool. Like you got some pretty neat looking 8-bit JLuv graphics going on there.
Now the graphics came from my friend Anthony. He is an animator. He lives in California. I put his channel in the description below of my videos. He's the one that did the Game Chasers, NES Addict. He has done a couple YouTubers, introduction and icon. So my 8-bit icon of me came from him. And then Die Hard did my overlay because I'm not artistic at all. I am horrible. I can't even draw birds. They look like check marks. So Die Hard did my overlay and Die Hard did my tune slapping JLuv. So I was blessed to have friends that are really talented to do that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of thought of that myself when I started off. Like when I started doing my videos and stuff, I had nothing. I had no graphics. I'm sort of a graphic person. Like, I mean, I do it for a living, but I'm not that kind of a graphic person. I can't draw amazing things, but I can come up with some pretty cool things on my own. My own logo, like if you've seen my Brian's Man Cave thing, that I drew myself, and I'm okay, but I wouldn't.
No, you're good. That looks just like you. I didn't even think you did that.
No, yeah, that's my thing. Before that, I didn't have anything, and I got to a point where I'm like, you know what, I need to have an identity. I'm kind of in that marketing kind of job where what I do in my job is kind of a marketing thing, like web and graphics and all that kind of stuff. But I never looked at myself as being like a great drawer. Like I can't do some of the stuff that some people can. I'm not the brilliant drawer, but I thought I'm gonna do the best I can and just go from there, and it's okay. I mean, but when I see your graphics, I'm like, those are amazing. Like whoever does those.
I wish I could take credit for that, but I definitely wasn't me. I draw the sun in the corner still, so that's me right there.
The stick people and
the stick people.
That's me.
What my drawings look like, I drew from an etch and sketch. That's how my drawings look. It's terrible. You don't want me drawing for you.
Even your intros to your video, like that's all done. I mean, I was impressed by some of your intros and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and I like how you use that. Like the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo.
I edit that part. So every time I put that next to my video when I edit, I always put the introduction first. I actually am the one that edits how I want it to fade into the video. And by the sound, because it does that sound naturally in the introduction, I figured it might as well look like the Mario world, the circle. So it fades in like that. I like that too.
And so you said you sell your own T-shirts. Is that what you
Yes,
do? So you use like the T, was it T spreads or
Teesprings.
yeah?
Yeah, Teesprings. I have like the 8-bit JLuv logo, and then I have the slapping tune JLuv logo for whoever likes the slapping one or the 8-bit one. So
That's cool. So people can go on your channel and find those there and the links and all that.
yes.
Yeah, it's awesome. I've done the same. I kind of went to a different route. I used a Spreadshirt. It was something I kind of learned about from watching other YouTubers. You know, I've watched some of those channels where it's like how to grow your YouTube channel. Yeah, how to make money off of YouTube. I've watched some of those out of curiosity, and I learned about Spreadshirt. And but you have to be able to design your own and then upload them and
Right.
stuff. And I did my own. You know, at first I thought, who the heck's going to want to wear my face on a shirt? So I kind of thought, okay, I'm going to come up with some other ideas, and I just came up with some retro inspired stuff. But I also carried a Brian Man Cave thing, and I ended up getting Sin Spacies in Australia. He ended up buying my shirt, and he's done a couple of videos. And I
I'll have
thought
to
that is
check those.
so cool. And I mean, I put him there just for fun. It's just like if somebody wants to do it, it's cool. But I'm not gonna like expect people to do that. But I mean, it's awesome that people actually do want to do that. I mean, you think
Yes.
about it. It's just like people like watching us, and then they're like, "Hey, I want to wear your shirt." I'm like, "Really?"
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool that that these things exist for us to do this, because otherwise it would cost us a lot of money. Like,
Yeah, it's still I'm still in shock.
yeah, and like with Spreadshirt, and probably with the same thing that you're doing, you don't have to buy the product first, right? You just kind of
Right.
submit it, and then you get like a cut, and so it's cool that
Yeah.
so any of these YouTubers that are watching right now, if you guys got a logo, if you got an identity, if you got something, I would suggest doing that. It's fun. You don't have to shove it down people's throats and put it in every
Right.
video and say, buy my shirt. Don't do that. Just say it's available. Put it in your description.
Yep,
It's
that's
just
what
like
I do.
Patreon. I don't like to go on about it all the time. In fact, when I set up my Patreon, I didn't tell anybody about it. I just kind of threw it in a link. If someone read it, they read it. It's like it's not about I'm doing this for the money. It's about, hey, you want to support my show, you can do it, but you don't
Absolutely.
have to. I'm not doing
Right.
this for you to support this show. Uh, and I think that that's another thing. All of us YouTubers have to agree with this. We don't make a lot of money. This is not a job. In fact, I think we lose money.
Yeah.
Honestly, the time we spent, the stuff we spent on materials on the the computers, like you were saying, the
Right.
laptops, the software, the editing time, then buying we don't make money. It's just doesn't exist. It's not. You don't get into this for the money. You get into this for the passion, and this is what I love about you, and this is what I love about a lot of the people on this channel is
Thank
that
you.
we're doing this for the passion. It's not for the money. If I wanted to make money, I would stop doing this and get a second job. I'd be working at McDonald's.
Right.
I'd make more money
Me
doing
too.
that.
Well, that's what I mean. Like this is more of a passion, and I'm having a really good time doing it. And just even creating a shirt, I actually didn't. I never had intentions to do that. It came from other YouTubers telling me, Jen, you should put that on a T-shirt. That looks awesome. And I'm like, all right, I'll try it. You're not spending money doing it. If anything, you're getting a certain cut if somebody buys a shirt. And I've had a
For
lot of
sure.
people buy shirts, and it blows me away. Like I can't believe that people would wear my logo. I can't believe people support me the way they do. That they actually have love for me, and it really makes me sincerely emotional. And it's like I'm like I said, I met the best of friends. I would have never met these guys if it wasn't for YouTube. Never. So to know that there's others like that, that's amazing. And now I could see why you have the Game Chasers hanging out with Wood and who hangs out with 8-Bit Eric. You know, I could see that. Just it brings you together. You wouldn't have those
Exactly.
friendships if it wasn't for YouTube.
And just one day, who knows, you'll be walking down the street and somebody will be like, "You are J Love, aren't you?" And you'll be
I
like,
I actually had that happen at Too Many Games. I've had 3 people approach me and said JLuv, and I'm like, JLuv, I'm my name's Jen. So when I turned around, this couple people said, "Hey, I watch your show. I knew you were going to be here." I couldn't believe it. I actually was the first time I was asked to take a picture with somebody. I posted it on my social media. I couldn't believe that. I've never had that happen to me before, so that's unbelievable.
Yeah, that would be surreal.
It
I don't
is.
think it's ever happened to me. I mean, the closest I've had that happen to me was at the last gaming show I went to, and we don't have many here where I live.
Yeah.
But the last retro gaming show I went to, I was talking with somebody, and I ended up at the end of the conversation, I gave him one of my cards. I actually got one here. One of these guys that kind of made up. It's upside down. One of these things that I made up for the show. I'm like, I gotta represent myself. And he looked at it. He was like, "Oh, right, it's Man Cave. Hey, yeah, I saw you on Facebook." I'm like, "You did?" Like, I did not expect that. I'm like, there's no way anybody in my neck of the woods is gonna know who the hell I am. And unfortunately, what he remembered me by was what we talked about earlier, was my rant about the whole thing about Nintendo flagging me on my copyright content. He's like, "You were the guy that got upset about the Nintendo copyright thing." I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's not what I want to be remembered by, okay? That was new to me, okay? I didn't know. But
if you
it
come
was
down
still
to game conventions, they'll know who you are.
it was
Come
still
down
surreal.
to conventions down here.
I think what did it was the logo. I think he recognized that. He didn't recognize me, which is weird. He recognized this.
That's a great logo. Everybody,
Weird.
check out his logo. He did that himself. It looks just like him, kind of like T-Belly's logo. Looked just like him.
Yeah, I kind of just grabbed a snapshot of one of my videos. I guess I was doing this or something. I'm very animated with my hands, so I guess I grabbed that one and I kind of traced it in Adobe Illustrator, and that was what I came up with. And I'm like, I want to try and make myself look a little bit more cartoony than real, and so that was what I came up with. And I put my name on my shirt, like, might as
That's
well.
freaking awesome. I wish I was talented like that. I am absolutely not. If you see something cool on my channel, I could guarantee you someone did that. And I give them credit too at the end of the video, always.
I think the hard part was coming up with the color scheme.
Okay.
I picked yellow and black because I figure those are the two colors that stick out the most. So
Okay.
I think
that's
it worked.
pretty cool. My favorite color is red, which is why my logo has the red background.
Yeah, yours. Yeah, I recognize that the red in there, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna move into I guess this might be one of the last few questions. I also want to throw this out to the guys in the chat, the people in the chat that have been here since the beginning. There's been a lot of people. I haven't been able to keep up with it. I mean, this has had a lot of people. I mean, out of a lot of my live chats, this has been the most like crazy as far as amount of people. I mean, you've brought in a lot of people in this one.
Oh, really? I can't even tell how many's in here.
From mine, I think I think at some point we had over 22 people watching. That's pretty crazy.
Thanks, guys.
And it's hard. I feel bad because it's hard because there's probably a lot of people in there throwing questions out there. So at this point, I think if anybody's watching this right now, throw some questions out there, and towards me, JLuv, both of us, anything, just to get a little bit of interaction, just so we can have that out there. And then if from there I can move on to my last question, because I know JLuv's probably tired. I'm tired. I'm an old dude. I'm older than JLuv, by the way. I mean, JLuv, what, 81? I'm assuming that was when you were born. You use that in your...
Yes.
I was born in 76, so I'm the old dude with the wife and kid, and I'm tired. So I'm sure she's tired, and she just retro gamed for about 3.5 hours. So
yeah, that was brutal.
Kudos to her.
I got to the 7-4, Nate. So I'm close, buddy. I'm close for you.
Well, let's see what we got there. All hail the queen, diehard gamer bros. Awesome. Solid Nate. Let's ask her to name her top 5 NES games. Oh, that's a tough one.
That is very tough.
How are you going to do that?
Top 5.
2 hours later,
I'm gonna say The Legend of Zelda,
yeah.
Super Mario Brothers 2 and 3. Believe it or not. So we're going with top 5. I do have a top 10. So if anybody's interested, there's a video.
Check out our
Maybe
channel.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out and DuckTales. That's my top 5.
I love all of those. You know what? I don't think I've ever played DuckTales. I have to put that down. I'm going to make a note of that.
Yeah,
DuckTales. Doing
amazing
it.
game.
I'm doing it. I got to check that game out. I always heard about it when I was a kid, but I don't think I've ever actually played it. Played Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers lots of time, but not DuckTales. Video game dust sleeves VGDS. Actually, I was going to bring that up too, the dust sleeve thing. He's asking, have I thought of playing more modern games? And yes, that has come up a lot. Actually, I've thought of it myself. Now, my history, and I've done a video on this about my history of video games and the systems I have and what I've played and stuff like that. And I kind of, I went up to Nintendo. To me, I could have stopped at Nintendo. I'd be perfectly happy. Eventually, I went into things like the PlayStation. I thought I would like the PlayStation, actually. I thought I would love it. But I was totally lost playing games like Tomb Raider. I couldn't. The 3D world, the 3D cameras throw me off. I'm directionally challenged. I admit that. I'm the kind of person that gets lost going straight. So I don't know. The 3D world is bad for me. And so when I had my PlayStation, I was buying a lot of classic games. I was buying like Frogger. I was buying the Atari Greatest Hits. I was buying everything I was buying was retro. So at that point, I realized, okay, I don't see the need to buy an Xbox or the next PlayStation. I bought a PlayStation 2 because there's a few games I liked, but not many. And I don't own an Xbox. I bought the Wii like we talked about earlier because of the bowling, but I don't play anything modern on it. I play bowling, I play Super Mario Brothers, and again, I play all the old classics. I play the old stuff. So I don't know. I'm just not good at it. I've seen this Fortnite game, and I'm like, I don't think I'd be good at that. I think I'd just be lost. I think at one point I tried to play Halo or Call of Duty. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I was lost. The kids, the little kids, like probably 11 and under, handed me a controller, and I was like, "What is this?" There's like 1,000 buttons on this thing, and they were going all over the place. I'm like, "What am I doing?" I think I was running into a wall. I don't know what I was doing. It was insane. I felt so lost. I'm like, I used to be with it. What happened? So I don't know. The Switch intrigues me. I like the new Zelda game. I kind of seen videos of that. That one kind of intrigues me, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd be good at the Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, you could prove me wrong, but
you'll get used to it.
Yeah. It's just
that's an amazing
my
system.
my Wii, my Nintendo Wii's not even hooked up right now. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about being a retro gamer. You kind of worry about content, and that I'm going to do content on my channel about retro games, but at some point there's going to be a cutoff where it's like I've already covered everything. What do I do now? Whereas modern gamers, they can the next stuff that comes out, like I believe I saw in the chat earlier about Nintendo Labo or whatever, that cardboard thing.
Oh yeah, I have no interest in that.
But that's exactly the thing. Like if you're into modern games, you can jump right on that, make a video on it and all this stuff, and just your videos can be based on what comes out next. So right. I kind of I feel like I should. I probably feel like I should at some point start paying attention to the modern games, but I don't think I will. I think I'll always be about 3 systems behind or 4. So that kind of answers that question.
Yeah.
Diet Hard Gamer Bros asked, "Hey, Brian's Man Cave, have you ever played Donkey Kong for the Game Boy Color?" I'm assuming you mean the one that has all those crazy levels about solving the puzzles. Yes, I bought that the moment it came out. I was so excited. You probably know I'm a Donkey Kong fan. So when I saw that come out, I jumped on that. I was like, this is awesome. Now I have to admit though, the first 4 screens are Donkey Kong. The rest of the game up until the very end is not Donkey Kong. It's a puzzle game. So still cool. I still enjoy it. It's a long game. There's a lot of levels, but awesome. I love that game. I
Yeah,
could play that again.
I do too.
It yeah, I just love how it changes up, but it's not a Donkey Kong game. It doesn't feel like a Donkey Kong game. It's a puzzle game. So the very end, you go back through kind of like a Donkey Kong level again, but you know, it's probably something I've been considering. Let's see what else is in there. Mr. Postyle's in there. How's it going, Mr. Postyle? Does Genesis do what Nintendo don't? It doesn't in my game room, but I love it. Yeah, I actually made a note here. I kind of underlined it too because you haven't mentioned much about Sega. What's your thoughts on Sega?
I did not grow up with a Sega Genesis, but I did play it at relatives' houses when I was younger, and I fell in love with Sonic the Hedgehog and Altered Beast, and those kind of games really made me want a Sega Genesis. But I couldn't. My parents weren't rich, so I had to always choose at least one console. So
One
I
of the
always chose Nintendo. Um, when I got older, is when I started to get into the Sega Genesis. And believe it or not, I got more into it within the last few years than anything else. And I learned to appreciate the console. So if I could, I would love to up my Genesis collection. I think it's an amazing system. Yes, I was very biased. I was in Team Nintendo, but Sega had some amazing games.
Nintendo fangirl.
Definitely underrated games. I love the Sega Genesis. The only problem I have with Sega is they made Sonic drown. Sonic did not have, he cannot breathe underwater. He relied on those bubbles, and Mario could breathe underwater. That's an issue for me. So that case, Nintendo did what Sega don't.
Yeah, Mario can defy the laws of physics
Yeah.
in every direction
Yeah.
and do whatever it takes. Um, have you ever played any Master System games though? Like, because if you think about the NES, right, the Sega Master System was the equivalent of the day,
Right.
right? Have you played any of those games? Have you ever considered those games?
I have played it at my cousin's house. I remember playing Rocky. Rocky on the
Hey,
Master
yeah.
System. Yeah, I never considered, I just did not grow up with one. I never considered getting one, but I am open to it because I love retro gaming. So, I mean, I can play the games honestly on my RetroPie if I wanted to. To collect for it, I'm really not that interested.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends, right? Maybe at some point in time you'll be done with Genesis and you'll be like, I need to move on there or go into
Yeah,
something else. Yeah.
absolutely.
Gamester Poet is asking if I guess he's directing it to both of us because he didn't specify, but if you could have any retro console you don't have, which one would it be? And for him, it would be the Vectrex. I don't know if you know what the Vectrex is, but
Yes, I do.
okay. So
That's a
for him, it
really
would be the
good question.
Vectrex. So what would it be for you?
Probably Sega Dreamcast. I don't own one, and I really like. I remember playing those games at my friend's house, and I really like the Dreamcast. I think it's definitely underrated. So I would say that.
That's an interesting choice. I don't think I know I've had a few people recommend that to me, the Dreamcast. But again, I think it would probably be the same problem I have with PlayStation. I think a lot of the games are just a little bit too out of my league.
Right.
For me, that's a tough one. I recently just picked up an Atari 400 computer, which is something I've been wanting to get for a long time. The other system that I've kind of been intrigued about would be the Magnavox Odyssey 2, I guess it's called. The Odyssey 2. Now, that is going before my time. I had no experience. I didn't know about that computer until very late in the game, like literally like in the last few years. And that thing goes before like the Atari pretty much. Like, I mean, that thing is old.
Right.
And the games are old. So that would probably be for me. I don't know. I've looked into the Vectrex. I've seen the Vectrex. Vector style graphics just aren't my thing. I like the 8-bit style. I like the blocked graphics.
Me
I don't
too.
like the vector
Yes.
graphics. Not
Yeah.
not been my thing. And but yeah, I'd probably be that. I don't know. It's hard, right? You want to own all these systems, but you gotta think about it. You gotta condense. You can't own everything, and then
Exactly.
you just end up with a big mishmash of everything, and it sucks. There's just so much out there. Let's see if there's any other questions before I get to my very last question of the stream, because I know.
Die Hard had asked twice what my favorite game is in my collection. It's a
Ah,
very
that's a good one.
hard
That's a
question.
tough. That's
Oh
like saying
man.
what's your favorite movie, right? You almost have to break it into categories. Like someone said to me, "What's my favorite movie?" I'd be like, "In what genre?"
Yeah, it depends on the console, I guess. Right now,
Yeah,
this generation, my favorite game this generation is going to be on the Nintendo Switch, and it's Mario Odyssey. That's this generation. Um, I I don't know. That's really tough for me. I guess PS4. I really like the Uncharted series, so I'll go with Uncharted 4.
yeah, and that's tough because you kind of got to go back. Like for me to say my favorite game, okay, I like Donkey Kong. It's been my favorite game, but at the same time, playing the first Legend of Zelda really blew me away. That game blew me away
Yes, me
because
too.
before then I played Commodore 64 games. I played classic Nintendo. I played Atari. I played in television, and there was no game like Legend of Zelda on any of those systems. There was close, but not to that extreme. Even Super Mario Brothers being a platformer game, I liked it. But when I first played Zelda, I was like, I love this game. This game, I can still play it today. Even though I know where everything is, I can still play Legend of Zelda. And I wish, like you said earlier, there was more of it.
Right.
I could totally get into like home brews and hacks and all
Oh
that stuff.
yeah, they're amazing.
Like the Zelda 2, it was okay. It's very hard. I tried doing a stream of it. I got to the point where I gave up. I'm like literally at the last point where I have to get to the
Yeah,
last palace.
I never beat that game too.
I beat it a long time ago, and I just because I guess because I'm playing it on an emulator with this crappy controller, it's just not working for me. Zelda, well, it's not really 3, is it? The Super Nintendo
Link to
Zelda.
the Past.
What is that? The Link to the Past.
Yes.
That's a brilliant version,
Yes.
um, but it doesn't have that second quest thing. Okay, whatever. But it's still a great version, and I was even playing that casually. I wasn't even streaming it or doing videos on it, and I was having fun playing it. So I think it's one of those games where you just got to get to the point where you almost forget where everything was, so you can go back and play it again, just to have that experience of
Yeah.
I don't remember this game, and I have to admit that even though I've completed the game in the past, the second time around when I was playing it, I had to go online and look things up. I was like, where the heck? I felt like I was lost. But yeah, I mean that Zelda is probably my number one
Mine.
when it comes to like favorite games of all time.
The
The
original
first one,
Zelda. Yes, I feel the same way. That's
yes,
my favorite Zelda game ever.
the 8-bit. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's where it at. um, Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up because I know it's getting late. We've been on this now for holy crap! It's like 9:45 our time, I think, isn't it?
Time goes by like this. It does.
Jeepers! Um, so this is kind of a outside question, but is there anything else you like to do with your spare time besides playing video games and doing YouTube? It's a hard one. Or is this it?
Honestly,
Is this what you do?
I that this is more of my hobby, but I love to hang out with my family. I have a really big family. I have siblings, I have nieces and nephews. I'm really close to my parents. I just my aunts, my uncles, we're really close knit. So when we get together on a Friday night or when I'm off, it's lit. It is so much fun. My neighbors always come over, hang out with the family. My best friend Mike. It's just I'm very family oriented. I'm very close to my family and friends, very close. So I do like to hang out. I like to watch movies. I am big on movies. Love
Movies.
movies, especially retro movies, guys. But I do like movies. I am more of a comedy girl. I can't stand horror. I cannot stand it. I don't watch it, and there's a reason why I don't watch it. So,
Nightmares?
yeah, it messes with my head. I could
Yeah.
swear I see things and I can't handle that. I just can't. I'm a chicken.
What about action? Like, are you into the action movies?
I
Like
love action games like
Terminator
John
2,
Wick. Yeah, Terminator 2. I love that kind of stuff. Die
John
Hard.
Wick. Yeah.
Yeah.
John Wick, I just watched those two. The first two movies are brilliant. I love that.
Yes.
Mm. Keanu Reeves, I mean, that guy can just, I don't know what it is about him. I mean, I loved him in Bill and Ted, and I love him in his action films. So I think he's just one of those great actors.
He is.
It's amazing. There's a lot of great movies. You know, horror movies are okay. I don't mind them. I love horror movies. I
Yeah.
love actions, and yeah, I mean, even the retro stuff, like you were saying, some of the stuff, and then I don't know if you watch any of the video game inspired movies, but like, what was your thought on the Super Mario Brothers movie? I just gotta ask that. You
Uh,
must have seen it.
I was excited for it because I was young. You know, it's a Mario movie. So when I watched it, I'm thinking, what the hell is this? This is what I was thinking. I was like, what world is this? Since when do Goombas look like dinosaurs? Like everybody was a dinosaur. It was weird. It was dark. It was just Mario. If you look at Mario Brothers, Mario's more, you picture a beautiful, just like the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, a beautiful, like blue sky. It's beautiful outside, the Magic Kingdom. We didn't see any of that. So it was a disappointment. Um, but it's nostalgic for me. I like watching it because it just brings me back to my childhood. Just like The Wizard. The Wizard is one of my
Oh
favorite movies.
yes.
One of my favorite movies. Why it's nostalgic. I love Fred Savage. I love that.
Well, that movie, I mean, honestly, that was like one big Nintendo commercial, right? And I do remember going to see that just so at the very end we can get that glimpse of Super Mario 3
Yeah.
because it wasn't
Yes.
out yet.
And that's why
It
we
wasn't
bought
out.
it.
We had Super Mario 2, and if you remember in those days, we were like, this is not Super Mario Brothers. This is different. And so we were totally like, when I saw the previews to that, I'm like, no way. I mean, that's what got me to go and see that movie.
Yeah.
And I think most of us watching it were waiting for that scene. I mean, there was a few great scenes in the middle. Um, the dude where what the heck is his name? The kid who had the power glove.
Lucas.
Lucas. That's
Yeah.
it. And he pulls it. He's like the power glove, and he
So
puts it on.
bad.
He plays Outrun and stuff or whatever it was. He played it. And Rad Racer. He played Rad Racer in it.
Yeah.
And then at the end, and Fred Savage is like, just keep your power glove off my girl. I mean, that was just brilliant.
It
I
was.
mean, it still works today. It's just an awesome. The movie's cheesy. It's a Nintendo commercial, and even the scene where the guy was playing the brother, what's his name?
Christian Slater.
Christian Slater was playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's like, oh yeah, I got the scroll weapon. I got that. Or no, his father was playing it. He woke up in the middle of the night. His father was addicted to it. I mean that just that was right there. Just I love that.
I love that movie. It makes me want to slap people when I watch it. So you don't want to sit next to me when I watch it.
Get the JLuv slap.
That's right.
Oh, that's awesome. Anyways, yeah, I just want to say thanks to everybody in the chat. I mean, this was awesome. This was a great. I mean, I think our peak here has been like 23 viewers at this point in time, which is really cool. I mean, it's cool to be able to chat with you. This is why I like doing this kind of thing. This is why I like the live chats and to bring on all these awesome YouTubers that do the same thing I do, into the same stuff I love, and it's just talking with these people, collaborating.
I agree.
I mean, we could have just simply done a simple video and just uploaded it, and those are fine too. I mean, the collab videos are cool, but being able to actually interact with people on the fly, doing this live, I mean, mistakes can happen. We can sneeze, we can cough, and it's going to end up live.
That's
we
true.
can get a brain fart and just sit there going, duh, and it's going live. So I love it. It's just a lot of
Me
fun.
too.
And I love all
Yeah.
the guys and the people in the chat. I mean, this is just a lot of fun.
Thank you guys
And
for being here. I appreciate it. This is for all of you guys. This is for all of you, my supporters, Brian supporters. We all support one another. Much love to everybody. Please check each other out. Everybody has amazing channels. We have to support one another, guys. Small YouTube channel, retro community, come together. It's amazing. It's a good time, and make sure you subscribe.
and thank you too to JLuv for
Thank
agreeing
you
to
for
come on to
having me.
Brian's Man Cave. I mean, I know I've been putting out a lot of to other YouTubers, and so I'm always humble when people are like, "Yeah, I'd love to be on your show." It's just great. It's just great that people are so inviting and they're so nice
Oh,
and they
thank you.
agree
I
to.
appreciate it. I
And
had a
there's
blast.
it's so much fun. Every time I do this, every time it's just like they have a lot of fun, and so I really enjoy doing this. And at some point, what I'd like to do, and I'm still planning this one, is to do like a multi video where I have a bunch of people on. So
That'll be
get
awesome.
you and a few others out there. And so thanks everybody for coming in and doing the chat and watching along. I know that
Thank
we
you.
can go on all night, but we're just gonna have to cut it because I haven't even eaten food yet. I gotta eat food, and I'm sure
Yeah.
J Love is gonna go and fall
I
asleep.
haven't. Yeah, I haven't eaten. I just finished streaming 3 hours. So
She just was
yeah,
streaming. I've been. This is what we do. This is what we do. This
that's
for
right.
you guys. We do it for
Yeah,
you. We
absolutely,
sacrifice. Anyways,
absolutely.
thanks for coming out, and for
Thank you
those
so
who
much.
didn't catch the stream, if you're watching this on a later date, you're awesome too. And thanks for coming in. And we'll all catch you out later. And we'll be ending the stream now.
Take care, guys.